This is the screw pad. It comes from a company called RepairX, and they did send me this to make a video review, so I did not purchase it, but I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about this product. First of all, I think it reminds me a lot of an idea that I had for making something similar, but obviously they didn't get their idea from me, and probably many people have thought of something like this and just never followed through. So here is the finished product. So what is this exactly? Well, as you can see, it offers you several different things. One is a screw organizer. So right now we're looking at a template that shows a Galaxy Note 10.1, and this is kind of a perspective of where all these screws will come out and where they're located inside the device where you remove them. Now they've taken this a step further and actually included instructions step by step here as to how you would perform various repairs or disassembly instructions for this particular model. So you've got step 1 is remove the S Pen, step 2, start prying at charge port area, and so forth. And as you go down here, it will show you also we have step 2 here, step 3 here, and so forth. Over on the right hand side, you have a legend that tells you, where a connector is located, pry up on the frame in these areas where the red arrows are, and so forth. So a fairly detailed tutorial as to how to perform this disassembly. In addition to that, down here on the bottom right hand corner, a list of the tools that will be required for the project that you're working on. So you can see over here they're saying for this particular tablet you want to have a Phillips 00, you want to have some tweezers, you're going to want adhesive, hair dryer, plastic tool, and so forth. So this kind of outlines everything that you need to get this done. They've also got a website with tutorial videos, repairxpro.com/videos. I assume that you can get probably a variety of tutorials. Down here on the bottom you can see it says do not place LCD battery, motherboard, or camera on the magnetic mat. And although I've never had any problems putting those components onto a magnetic mat, there's probably a reason for that. I would assume it's mainly liability, but also I'm going to have to assume that this is a relatively strong magnet because not only are we sitting screws on top of it, but we've also got this plastic layer and then this cardboard insert that's right below it. So this is made to be changed out as you go from one project to the next. So if you grab a hold of this thing, it's really kind of stuck in there, just slide that out and then grab your next template. So over here, I've got a Galaxy S4, and I'm gonna take this and just slide it right into the side like so. And this is gonna be for the i337, which is the AT&T version. And you can see on the inside, probably unlikely you'll be working on a Galaxy S4 at this point, but they do have a variety of different templates for all sorts of different models. And I can think of a few devices that I really would have liked to have this for that have a ridiculous amount of screws on the inside that have to be organized. So again, you can see from the outside, we've got the screws that go into the case underneath the back door over the battery. And then once you get inside, and it shows you where all of the components go. Here's our front camera, proximity sensor, headphone jack, and so forth. Now, in addition to this, oh, and I almost forgot to mention, this is writable, so you can go over here and make any kind of notes you want about whatever the repair is that you happen to be working on. So if there's not something included on this, or there's something that you feel you need a little more emphasis on remembering, you can make your own notes on here, and then when you get done, you just come back and wipe them off. So if you've got any sort of dry erase marker or dry erase eraser, I guess is what you call it, you can just wipe those off. And in fact, obviously you can use whatever kind of marker you want to on here. So that is very helpful when you have those minor things that maybe you have a problem remembering and you want to add some information to your instructions that you already have here. Now beyond that, they've also got on the back side of this, actually I'm going to leave that in and grab another one. This is the template for the iPad 2. Now all of these templates, if you flip them over, they have what they call, let's just do it that way, they have what they call X-ray mode. So turn this over and it will give you some additional information on where the screws go inside. They're all color coded. And if I hadn't pointed it out already, up here in the left-hand corner, it tells you what models are supported by this particular template. So you get the idea. This is an interchangeable magnetic mat that lets you put different templates inside. You can take notes on it as you go along, erase them when you get done. And of course, the most important thing is when you set your screws on the mat, the magnet will hold them in place. Now, I did discover one minor thing about this. When you come across a screw that cannot be magnetized or won't stick to a magnet, you're going to have to remember not to move this thing around. I actually had a screw from an iPad, and I laid it down sideways somewhere down here in this vicinity, and for whatever reasons, when I turned the mat over, it kind of fell down into this slot down here. So for a minute, I thought that I had lost it. I did have to grab my tweezers because it actually flipped around this way, and it was kind of hidden there. So if I had any suggestion for this, and you see I just shoved it further back inside there, so I'm going to need some tweezers for this one. So if I had any suggestions for this, I think it would be that maybe if this were sealed down so that we didn't have a gap along the edges, that would be helpful. If this was kind of glued all the way across there, that is really the only room for improvement I can see. Overall, this thing has instructions, it's got a magnet, you can make notes as you go along, and most importantly, you can switch these out from one model to the next, so you don't have to buy a separate magnetic mat for each project you have. I'm sure everyone gets the idea, but just in case, I thought I'd do just a quick run through here with the Galaxy S4, which surprisingly, I happen to have on hand. So if we go here, it's going to tell us to remove the back cover. So we'll go ahead and pop that off. Second thing, of course, is remove the battery. And third, we have remove SIM and SD card, which you can see have already been removed from this phone. Remove the 9 screws from the casing. So they're talking about these Phillips screws here. And as we go along with these, and they do tend to be tricky sometimes on the Samsungs, you might have to get a pair of tweezers and remove them. But if they come out, you just go ahead and set them directly on the mat relative to the position that they were inside of the phone. And then that way, we don't end up misplacing anything or putting it in the wrong spot. And this is particularly important when you're working with iPhones. You can see already that I am missing a screw right here and over here. So this phone's obviously been gone through before, but this is pretty much how you would go about it. And screw organization, I cannot stress enough, really need to concentrate on that, especially when you're working with iPhones, because mixing up a couple screws and putting them into the wrong position can be a problem. But here you have this template that shows you exactly where they go, and when you go to put them back in, you can refer to this if you need to, and they go directly in proportion or directly orientated the way that they are on this mat. Makes your life much easier. If you found the video helpful, like it, share it, check out my channel for more tutorials and product reviews, and most of all, remember to hit the subscribe button. Feel free to leave your feedback in the comments section, and thanks for watching.